Hello, today we're going to talk about sound. Sound waves are created by vibrations through a medium, such as a solid, liquid, or gas. They are longitudinal waves, and what the vibrations do is it compresses and it has compressions and has rarefactions. So when you make a sound wave, let's do I always do the slinky. All right, these are your compressions. Because they're the compressed parts. The spread out part are called rarefactions. And these are sound waves. They travel fastest through solids because the molecules in a solid are very close together. So it doesn't take much energy for them to collide with each other because they're very, very close. That's why if you put your head, I'm not suggesting do it, if you put your head on a railroad track, you can hear the train coming from farther away than if you're just standing there, because it travels fastest through a solid, slowest through a gas, which is the air we breathe. So, and liquids in between. So if you watch those old cowboy movies, they used to put their heads against the ground to hear who's coming. It's because it's going through a solid. Right? The higher the temperature, the faster it is. As lower temperature gets there, it slows down. Temperature changes the speed. So there you go. An example of a medium of sound waves is a violin string or vocal cords. So you have a violin string and you pluck it, it vibrates and creates sound, and your vocal cords do the same exact thing. All right, sound speed and frequency. So as I said, sound traveling through depending on the medium that sound's traveling through depends on the speed of the sound. If it's traveling through a solid, it travels very, very quickly. If it travels through a gas, it travels slower. It also depends on the temperature. So the higher the temperature, it speeds up. The lower the temperature, it slows down. So and that's because the molecules are more spread out in a gas. Gas, they're out here. Liquid, they're closer. And solids, they're right next to each other. Human hearing is between 20,000 hertz and 20 hertz, according to the lesson. Ultrasounds are high frequency. Ultrasounds are used to see babies and stuff like that. If you never had one, they're not babies. I haven't had a baby personally. I have children, but I haven't had them. But ultrasounds are used to see babies and stuff like that. And infrasounds are the lower frequency. So ultrasounds are high frequency. Infrasounds are lower frequency. It is dangerous to listen to sounds over 160 decibels or dBs. All right, so sound, amplitude, and pitch. So your amplitude is the distance of your wave from the resting line to the top of your, or wherever. So your loudness describes the amount of energy and the second wave. All right, more energy, more amplitude, louder sound. So an example would be turning up and down the TV. So when you turn up and down the TV, you're actually just moving the amplitude up and down. All right, pitch describes the frequency of sound. So high pitch would be like 2,000 hertz, it's a high frequency. Low pitch is like 500 hertz. All right, hertz is the measure of frequency. So an example of a high pitch would be a bird's chirp. When you hear it, it's got like that piercing sound to it. A low pitch or a low frequency, an example would be the roar of a lion. So it's got that kind of bass to it, I guess you would call it. So increasing the tension on vibrating objects will increase the pitch. So basically, so let me say it again. Increasing tension on vibrating objects will increase pitch. It's like tightening violin strings or guitar strings. It changes the sound based on how tight and loose it is. All right, the last thing we're going to talk about is the ear. So, kind of done a diagram. So, the outer ear. The outer ear captures your sound. It sends that sound to the ear canal, which vibrates the eardrum. Alright, when that happens, in your middle ear you have three tiny bones called the hammer, anvil, and stirrup. What they do is the middle of the ear, well those are three, hammer, anvil, stirrup. And this carries vibrations to the inner ear, which is the cochlea, I believe it's called. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But it's a spiral structure that changes the vibrations into electrical pulses that are carried to the brain through the auditory nerve, which is at the very, very end of your ear. So, outer captures it, carries to the inner ear. The cochlea is a spiral structure that changes that sound to electrical impulses and sends it to the auditory nerve, which sends it to your brain. Alright, this has been Sound. Hope it helped. Good luck.